Darsey was one of the smallest of the litter. We chose her because she was lively and immediately friendly, a smaller pup with a bigger heart. We brought Darsey home to the ranch when Trudy was a yearling filly. The two rambunctious young animals quickly took to racing one another around thickets of trees, just for the fun of running and the competition of one to stay ahead of the other. As Trudy matured, she lost interest in racing, except to run to the barn when called for feeding. Darsey learned a new game that befitted her strong shepherd instincts. Darsey only needed a one-word command, horses, before dashing and scouting throughout the woods and meadows to herd the two horses to barn. Usually, the horses were anxious for their feed, and they tolerated Darsey chasing them to the barn. But one day, Darsey and the horses had a disagreement. Perhaps the horses did not want to go in the direction Darsey expected, or maybe Darsey upset one of the horses with a nip at the fetlock. I didn't see the prelude. I only heard the racket and Darsey's yelp. Darsey was crippled. The veterinarian found her spine had been injured. Darsey eventually learned to walk again, but she couldn't jump or run. At best, she could only fast walk short distances. Without exercise, Darsey gained weight. I cut her feed by half, but she remained overweight. To exercise her, I coaxed Darsey to follow me as I walked about the ranch. But even with more coaxing, the distance she walked and her pace steadily declined. She tried, but she was hurting. Early this morning, gunshots sounded near, as if a hunter was trespassing. I put on a bright orange vest, took my .308 out of the gun cabinet, and began walking to the wooded area north of my house. I walked about 1/8 of a mile and crossed a creek. The south bank was about 30 feet high, and the north bank was about 10 feet high. I walked another quarter mile through dense woods, without seeing any trespassers, before turning back and taking a different path home. After a day of appointments, I arrived home at about 5:30. Darsey was missing. I immediately feared that she had followed me this morning and walked down to the creek bed and could not climb back out. I dumped the contents of an old ice chest, missing the top, and attached a rope to pull it like a sled. Just as I suspected, Darsey walked down the dry creek bed and could not get back up. I was relieved to find her. She had worked all day, about 11 hours, and managed to get about halfway up the 30-foot bank, but she was exhausted and seemed to be in pain. I placed Darsey in the ice chest and pulled her home. She was weary, barely walking, and very thirsty. After she drank a lot of water, she ate.